Alright, good morning. Folks, it is 48 degrees, which in Florida is cold. This is like a vlog, by the way. I'm just giving you kind of an update of what is going on and stuff. Let's put some light on in here. Look at that. So the NSX right now is in pieces. There is the exhaust right here. I'm not going to give too much away because I want to make a separate video for this, and the people that want to watch and see what we're doing, I want to put more detail in that. But as you see, the exhaust is in pieces, the bumper is off, the whole frame on the back is off. This is a fixture for the exhaust. This is one of the pipes right here. Yes, it's pie cuts for the people that like pie cuts. Here it is. For the people that don't like pie cuts, here it is. That is going on right now. We're doing it between jobs. We're a busy shop, so trying to work on our own stuff is tough. So it's kind of going on after hours. So basically there's going to be two exhausts for this. The first one, I'm going to call it a GT style exhaust. It's just going to have two twin pipes coming out the back. It's going to be a direct one pipe off each downpipe, and there's going to be a balance of two. It's all titanium, 100% titanium, including the flanges. And I want to give these guys a shout out. Tycon. These guys offer everything in titanium. Go on their website, check it out. They have a catalog with everything you can imagine in titanium. Almost everything you can imagine. Update on the welder. There is no update on the welder. Here it is down here. It's still sitting right there. And it sucks because it's still the better welder. We still have one Dynasty that's working. Right here, this one we're using. We have another Miller right here. We have some more torches. We're trying to use Miller products because they're good quality stuff. I mean, we use the genuine torches and hoses right here. There is the cart that the bad welder usually sits on. So what sucks is I reached out to Miller and I'm trying to get someone to call me back, which is impossible. I've been trying to call them for 3 weeks. I don't even get a call back. So at least I'd like a call back to say, hey, thanks for calling us, have a nice day. But I don't even get that. What I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to get a free welder. However, that would be nice. But I'm sure if I could get one at a discounted price, it would help us out immensely. And of course, in return, I would try and give them as much marketing dollars as I could. Talk about the features, talk about the welder, keep putting their logo in the videos. You know, basically do some promo stuff, kind of like what we did with Swiss Tracks. So that's what's going on with that. We're down to one welder, and I can't really afford another Dynasty. And I don't want to buy, you know, the Lincoln. Lincoln have like a $1,700 machine. It's a AC/DC machine, but it doesn't have the features of the Miller, and it doesn't have the high duty cycle that the Miller has. Here's one of the other pipes getting welded right here. If you're wondering what this is, the aluminum foil with the elastic band on, and then the coupler over here. This is because it's being back purged. You run argon through it. You fill the pipe full of argon. Then when it's welded, there is 100% weld all the way around. It's nice and smooth and clean on the inside. One thing I do want to show you is Hot Wheels just released the CRX SI. George actually found this and gave me it. I am a big CRX fan, and if you know any of my background, I've owned a lot of CRXs, and we've swapped a lot of CRXs. One of the first ones to do a hydro conversion in a CRX. I'm definitely the first one to put a B-Series Jackson Racing supercharger in a CRX and keep air conditioning and heat, and amongst other things. But check that out. It's new for 2019. It's a fantastic model. It really is. Speaking of models, I have some of my models over here. You see the Mini Champs, yellow CRX, and then the silver CRX, and then the CRZ. I got a lot of these cars based on when I owned whatever the car, and then some of the tuners. I don't know if you remember these, the two CRXs that are Civic Si. So that gives you an idea how long we've been into this kind of stuff. So anyway, this is another cool little car that George actually bought. He found it, I think he found it on Amazon, but he couldn't get orange, but he went, hey, you know what, this is LHT blue. And of course, if I had the money, I'd probably own a car in every color. It's like the S2000. People say, what's your favorite S2000 color? All of them. Yellow, red, black, Laguna blue, the list goes on. So that's what's going on here. That's just a quick vlog, just an update. So look out for the Hot Wheels CRX if you can find it. And if you're an NSX fan, stay tuned to the video. There is going to be more on this, and I promise I am going to do a video about what is good and what sucks about the NSX. I mentioned on my Instagram the suck factor, and that wasn't like a derogatory term. It's just like a little term I came up with. I believe every car you own, there is something good about it and something bad about it. Well, you've got to find something. It's kind of like people. Everyone has a good and a bad side. You got to find people that appeal to you, that get along with you, that have more pluses than negatives. Same as a car. If the negatives get to a certain percentage, well, everything else kind of pulls the shine off everything else. The things that you really enjoy, it kind of takes away from it. It's like I've said, even on an older car, some of the first things that I was really critical of is making sure the door handles felt nice. You know, and you go up to a car, the first thing you do is open the door. If it feels all rickety, the handle feels rickety, the door kind of clunks, it almost takes away from the experience before you even get in it. And then the next step is sitting in the car and holding the steering wheel. You know, if the steering wheel is all rickety and it creaks and the leather's all messed up, it could be the best car in the world, but it kind of takes away from it. And again, that's just the way I feel. So I'm going to talk about this. There is a couple of things that suck, but the pluses, do they outweigh the suck factor? I'll talk about that. I'll also do some driving videos, hopefully with a new exhaust and have an improved sound. So I want to give another update on the Swiss Trax tiles. Occasionally I get comments from the video, and it's usually people commenting and they don't really know anything about it. The first thing they say is, well, what happens when you drop stuff in the tile? What happens? You can't get it out. Yes, you can. It's actually in channels. But the good thing is, and I said this before, and it's kind of a lazy approach, this looks clean all the time. I think we've vacuumed it twice since we've had it, and as a first look, it always looks clean, which is what we're looking at. We don't have a cleaning service. Neither one of us come in here and clean for 10 minutes before we start work. We don't have that kind of time, so we wanted something that would look clean and presentable and wear well. Swiss Trax, check them out. It really is this good. And again, this is the high traffic area. This is where people walk in. Somebody's going to mention it. The door. Why don't you guys paint the door? Rather than working on the NSX, you guys could be painting the door. And rather than working on the S2000 that is on the schedule, we could be painting the door. Well, guess what? It's not a priority. Quick pictures in the office in case you was interested. Some people have PM'd me and said, hey, take a look at this. This is the all-wheel drive turbo K-Sight we built. This was my Integra Type R before I did the JDM conversion. Some people are going to say I hate these, but I actually made grills here to allow more air through the intercooler and radiator. I also made a scoop here in the carbon fiber hood to allow the heat to escape, and it was based on like an Evo style grill. That wasn't see-through. I actually made a panel under that with like almost like a tray, and it had a drain tube that came down. So if rain dropped in here, it would actually hit the drain tube, the drain pan, and run. It's kind of like the drain pan on your air conditioning unit. And it was all pretty compact. It was all powder coated. It actually looked pretty good, and it was extremely functional. Other pictures. This was my Turbo S2000. I made this turbo kit for the car and took it to Nopi. This is actually at the Nopi Nationals. This was in 2010. I built that car. It was a 2007 Rio Pearl full turbo kit. Did CR wheels, lowered it. Did the yellow stitch steering wheel from the CR, the shift boot from the CR, yellow hardtop, a few things like that. I was still too big for the car. It was an awesome car, but I felt like a big giant in a little car. There's the K-Sight. That model, she's actually in Vegas now, but she is a friend of one of our friends, and she did a whole bunch of shoots for us. This is the original K-Sight. This was in 2008. Yes, that was before I had my first son, but that was an expensive car at the time. So to buy that car and go out on a whim and take the engine out and try and put a new engine in and make it work was actually quite a big undertaking for us, especially as the economy wasn't doing too well at the time. But I'd kind of committed, and I said, I've got to do it. I've got to be the first one to do it. And it was a fantastic car. and again 200 wheel horsepower, and it did an average of 49 mpg. I took that to the NOP Nationals too. Again, this is, if you look this up, it was on Honda Tuning magazine, and it was the June of 2008 episode. That was from the photo shoot to the C6 that I had, the Sierra that I still have, and the all-wheel drive K-Sight. There's another picture of that car. Honda Tuning magazine, the KRZ was on the cover, and again I committed to do this. I bought this car brand new in 2010. It had just come out. It was one of the very first ones in the country, and I just had my son at the time. So think of it this way, I was, at the time, the economy was still kind of rough, and I was the only one in the shop. I had no employees, it was just me. I bought that car, put half of it on a credit card, wrote a check for the other half, tore the engine out, started building it. There's the engine, and again I went extremely broke building this car, but I believe I did it as nice as I could with the resources that I had. It was definitely a cool car. Again, first one that was ever done. Good stuff. But again, Honda Tuning magazine, that was in April 2011 issue. Real quick, this was the Integra Type R. This was with the JDM front on the cover of Turbo magazine. Actually, pretty cool to call it Killer Drone. So, again, this was something that I bought. I traded my Evo. I bought a brand new Evo. Basically disliked the Evo from the day I bought it, and I ended up trading it for this car after the customer had actually broken a sleeve in the engine. Took this in trade, sent the engine out to Golden Eagle. Golden Eagle was like 8 or 12 weeks at the time out, so while the block was getting sleeved, I was porting on the head. I started building things. I built a sheet metal intake manifold. Little tiny things here. Those brackets for the power steering pump, I actually made those all out of billet aluminum, as well as a lot of the mounts. And it was all in quest to save weight. I was trying to offset the weight that we added with the turbo. Again, cool car. Made way more power than I needed, but it was mainly just to show that I could do it. That was it, 647 horsepower. And again, this was just maxing out. I mean, absolutely maxing out the dyno. The real number was like 628, but you know, when you see the dyno goes up and it does a bunch of dicky. Well, of course you say max was 647, even though it was a true 628. I'm not the first person to fudge the dyno when it comes to peak numbers. That was actually Esther CRX. It had a brand new Integra Type R motor in there. That was a brand new block, brand new head, brand new intake manifold, all parts, timing belt. We bought it absolutely brand spanking new, and she helped build and assemble the engine. If I can find it, I've got pictures somewhere of Esther building it, but that was her 91 CRX SI. This was the engine bay from my white CRX HF. That's a B20 VTEC with a Type R head. The Jackson supercharged with the LHT intercooler manifold, LHT header, and all of those goodies. That car made 302 wheel horsepower. No, sorry, 308 wheel horsepower and 210 foot-pounds. And that was on pump gas. There was no funny mixing gas back then. This was in like 98, 99. As you see, of course it's all kept the shadows, but it was nicely done. Real nice car. Some of the LHT merch. I'm not going to mention the online store, but that's what's going on. And I told you this, the scraper story in a past video. Sorry guys, sorry that was a long boring video, and it's not just to try and fill time. Well, I guess it is. It's some of the people ask these questions, and rather than message each person back and try and remember who said what, I was trying, you know, generally answer. So someone mentioned us doing a live YouTube video. I'm going to look into that, see what I have to do. I don't know if I can do it on my phone, but we'll see if we can do something. I'll get Esther and George. If you want to post questions in the comments, just say what you'd want us to talk about. I'll get Esther to write some of the key points down, and we'll do a YouTube live and see if we can answer some questions, because it's not about just trying to act famous. It's cool to interact with the people that are interested in what we do, and people like-minded, people that like to do what we do. It really is a passion, so it's really cool to talk to people that do share that passion. So you want to see what's cool is Esther has set up a work calendar for all of us. We all have iPhones, so I think that makes it easier. But we all have a linked calendar. And again, some of you guys are going to go, wow, you guys only just figured this out. I don't mess around with the calendar. So that way we can all log on here and see what is going on. Let me see if I can prop the camera up and kind of show you this. And again, if you click on the date, it tells you what it is, but everywhere there is a dot. I'll press that right. Oh, no, wrong way. So you scroll up right here, there's January, February, but there's a dot on every date. It tells us what's going on. I mean, it's pretty good for me. I mean, even through June, there is a dot on every day. I guess that's a good thing. But when people call up and go, why can't you fit me in? I want to come in on this date. Well, if somebody else is already on that date, we can't push them out and put you in. Especially if somebody's coming from, you know, far away. We have to do everything we can to cater to the people that are coming in and they're already booked, and we have the parts set aside. That kind of thing. So hopefully you understand. We really do try and do the best by everybody, but sometimes people are not happy. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do, click the like, hit the comment, hit the bell, all that stuff. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye on for this.